What's good, fellas? Welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk about something that's actually pretty important in trading, and that is just not caring about the losses or what happens on the market. This is a severely hard thing to get to in your stage of trading, but it's possible, okay? And I'm going to give you guys some key tips that helped me overcome that. It's a lot easier said than done, but it can be done, and it kind of has to be done in order for you to become a profitable trader. So first thing first, most importantly, was me just de-risking. So on my evals, I still risk a heavy amount, right? Because I'm trying to pass them. However, when you get to the XFA stage, the losses will affect you a lot more than they will in the evals. Why? Well, because you're essentially trading with real money that you can deposit once you reach those 5 winning days or whatever the case may be, right? So if you lose that money, it's going to affect you a lot more than losing that eval money where you just paid for the test instead of like, you can't deposit that money or withdraw that money is what I'm getting at. So what I started doing was I started de-risking on my XFAs. So now my stop losses are anywhere from like probably like 300 points or $300 to like $500, where that used to be like $700 to like $1,000 per trade, and that's a lot of money, especially if you lose and it's your first trade of the day and you're starting off the day minus $1,000. Like that can get to you mentally. So once I started de-risking, I stopped caring about the losses because I was super comfortable with the amount that I was going to lose during that trade if I did end up losing that trade, right? I'm not really focused on how much money I can make in a day now. I'm just letting the process come to me, and that ultimately leads me into my next thing I'm going to talk about, is letting the setups come to me as well. I started getting really used to letting price ride without me, and that is a super good thing to have because that means you no longer have FOMO. I've been forward testing a lot of trades recently. Some have played out, some haven't, and if they do play out without giving me a proper A+ entry, then I'm just, oh well, so be it. It's going to be a no trade day, where originally I would try to trade every single day, get as much trades in as possible, at least do my 2 trades in the AM, and then move on to the next day. Now I'm just, okay, if I take 1 trade a week, it is what it is. I'm letting it come to me, and I'm stopped trying to force things, because when I was forcing things, and when you guys are forcing things, nothing good comes from it, because you're essentially trying to rush the process at the end of the day. Something that really stimulates my mind is waking up in the morning, and the first thing I do is literally just make my bed and brush my teeth. I used to roll out of bed, jump on the charts, eye boogers in, get my daily bias at like 9:28. Now I'll make sure I'm up by like 9:10, 9:05ish. Gives me 25 minutes to freshen up, get ready, splash some water on my face. Okay, get up for your day and be ready for what is going to happen in the market, and try to determine a bias and get your conviction. Okay, don't just go on in the market and then taking the dumbest setups, because you're going to be a lot more upset and mad at yourself if you know you're taking a stupid trade and you shouldn't be at it, rather than you actually building real conviction and entering a trade because your conviction is it comes to you as an A+ setup. Okay, I have a 70% win rate, and this is another thing I want to talk about. I have a 70% win rate, which means what? Which means 30% of the time I'm failing, which means 30 out of the 100 trades minimum I take, I'm going to lose. So it's okay. I know losses are a part of a winning statistic, and a lot of traders talk about that as well, and it's super true. Ever since I have been trading with a clear mind, my trading itself has become a lot more clear. And I want to talk about this last thing real quick. I don't really like putting like different religious beliefs like upon people, but I have been praying to God lately, which is kind of weird to say because I never used to do that. And ever since I guess I started talking to him, and whatever the case may be, he is kind of like guiding me in the path, and he's the one that has really made me just relax on the charts, right? Let the setups come to me and stop rushing it was the main thing. I would try to do that on my own, and then it just wasn't working. So I decided to talk to him one night, and ever since then, I've been praying to him every single night before I went to bed, and it has been working. I was never really a religious person before then. Still really am. I do believe in a higher Lord or whatever the case may be, but I never really believed in talking to him. I started talking to him, and it has made wonders. It's actually pretty crazy in what he has done. But yeah, like I said, I don't like pushing that upon people. That is just what I have done. But yeah, maybe try that out. Who knows? It can't hurt to try something out, right? But yeah, really the last thing I have to say to you guys is just do it for your future self. Okay, do you really think that your future profitable self is sitting there moaning and groaning about every single loss they take, and they're over risking and blowing accounts? No, you're sitting there waiting for the setups to come to you, using good risk management and learning from your losses, right? 30% of the time, we got to fucking learn from it. Even the other 70% when we win, there's always something to learn from, okay? And when I mean journal your losses and actually learn from it, dissect your trade and actually learn from your losses. Because yeah, you can journal and half-ass the journal and you won't go back and reread it. But when you actually reread it over and over again and dissect why you really took the trade, you can pinpoint what exactly you can fix in your process, okay? Do it for your future self, because he's not sitting there bitching about every little loss he takes. He's taking it on the chin and moving on to the fucking next day. Hope this video helped you guys out. I'll catch you in the next one.